I'm Lelainia Lloyd, and I live in Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada, on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nation. I'm a mother and newly minted mother-in-law, and a grandmother to 3 wonderful grandsons who are truly the lights of my life. Much of my life has been shaped by my work as an advocate, educator, and public speaker. I mentor future healthcare providers at the University of British Columbia, where I've spent the last 15 years helping students understand patient-centered care, disability awareness, and the importance of seeing patients as human beings rather than just a diagnosis. I've also helped develop curriculum, publish medical papers, and I serve on the board of the Journal of Medical Imaging and Radiation Sciences. I never expected that as a patient without a formal degree, I would be contributing to medical education in this way, but I'm proud of the influence I've had and the difference I've made. My own journey with NMOSD began when I was very young. My first symptoms appeared when I was 12. I would suddenly lose the connection between my brain and my body and fall down the stairs, or I'd crash my bike because my feet would suddenly fly off the pedals. Later, I began having severe pain, unexplained vomiting episodes, and then major complications during pregnancy and childbirth that I now know were symptoms of an attack. For years, I was told different things were wrong with me, but no one was putting the pieces together. In my late 30s, I was finally diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but the treatments weren't helping. In fact, I kept getting worse. Eventually, after a long and exhausting search for answers, I was able to advocate to be reevaluated at UBC and diagnosed with NMOSD. By then, I had already lived through decades of symptoms, misdiagnosis, and permanent damage. One of the hardest lessons I've learned is that chronic illness forces you to grieve over and over again. You grieve the version of the life that you thought you'd have, and you grieve each new loss as it comes. Over time, I learned that the goal is not acceptance so much as it's about adjustment. It's learning how to build a meaningful life within the reality of my diagnosis. One of my biggest sources of joy has been wheelchair curling. I've been curling for 6 years now, and it's become one of my greatest passions. I've competed and won silver at the BC Provincial Wheelchair Championships and went on to compete at nationals. I never imagined I'd be playing against the Paralympic athletes I admire so deeply. Curling gave me not just a sport, but a community where inclusion, respect, and camaraderie are part of the game. Community has mattered just as much in my NMOSD journey. Living with a rare disease can be incredibly isolating, especially when doctors may not know what you have. That's why connections matter so much. Whether it's online patient groups, in-person events, or simply hearing someone say to you, "I understand," it reminds you that you're not alone. The support can change everything. Advocacy is personal for me because I've lived with the consequences of things being missed. I've lived with the impact of treatment that finally worked and experienced the harm that can happen when practitioners are not monitoring closely enough or fully informing me about the risks of certain medications. I speak up because I want other patients to be better protected than I was. I want people to understand this disease, trust their instincts, and feel empowered to ask questions. If there's one thing I'd like people to take away from my story, it's that knowledge is power. Patients with rare disease often become their own best advocates because we have to. My hope is that in sharing my experience, it helps others feel less alone, more informed, and more prepared to speak up for themselves. My hope for clinicians and future healthcare professionals that I mentor is that they remember that the best care happens when patients are listened to, believed, and included as partners in their care.